If you, as a business analysis practitioner, get an assignment to work on the identification of dependencies and risks, you will probably want to achieve it by examining the intended flow through user stories. What is interesting, and what you should be aware of, is that story mapping is the composition technique itself. Story mapping is used to assist in creating understanding of product functionality, the flow of usage, and to assist with prioritizing product delivery. Before starting your story mapping session, it would be best if you prepared themes and stories. Having done so helps your team stay focused on prioritization and understanding the sequence of the user's activities. There is no need for assigning a facilitator, as story mapping sessions should be self-facilitated. To comprehend the technique more accessibly, let me first show you what a story map looks like. It uses a two-dimensional grid structure. When we take a look at the vertical dimension, at the top we have higher-level stories and user activities. Going down vertically, we get smaller stories organized by priority underneath the corresponding top-level story. On the other hand, the horizontal dimension shows user flow, that is, the critical aspects of the product. Following is an example of a story map for ordering lunch over the app. As you can see at the top, we have listed themes or user activities that are displayed as a user journey. Below each of the themes, we have user stories. The user stories are ordered by priority, so the more important ones are placed at the top. This allows us to draw the lines and determine which stories will fall in which release. A piece of good advice is to have a story map placed in a spot visible to the entire team. This practice can help the team see the context of the stories, which leads to better release planning. While we talked about the product roadmap technique, we mentioned that a team is a collection of requirements, features, or stories. That is a comprehensive view of all personas' activities. The themes are used as the top line of a story map. They are the starting point of creating a map. Next, we have stories or features that we get by listing all the possibilities related to each theme. Once we have defined all the stories and features underneath the corresponding theme, it's time to order them by priority. At the top, there are stories with higher ranks, and below are those with lower grades. Making an order in the stories helps you create a release plan, so the stories with a higher priority will be delivered earlier. With this in place, an agile practice of delivering early and delivering often becomes more realistic, as your whole team is allowed to focus their effort on the things that matter. Having a proper story mapping helps you understand what exactly the customers want. Story maps are used to visualize your personas and their goals, so you can more easily perform prioritization based on the fact if there are more or less relevant personas included. By sharing your product vision on a user story map, you communicate the big picture in a way that is intuitive to the entire team. As a downside of the technique, I would like to highlight the fact that if you are working in an environment that is not process-oriented, you may find story mapping less useful. One more thing to be aware of is that while story maps illustrate a flow, they do not analyze or explain dependencies between requirements. Still, they can be used to help facilitate that analysis.